What's going on, everybody? Mark Fleetwood here. Welcome back to the Daily Grind Trader. Today, I'm going to be doing a technical analysis on Ravencoin, as well as many other coins in the market, including Bitcoin. With that being said, guys, if you like to style the video, please take a look at my channel, subscribe, like, all that stuff. I've got technical analysis on multiple different coins, trading strategies, scalping, short-term swing trading, all different kinds of crypto stuff, crypto entertainment, I'll say. Remember, not financial advice. I don't do that. No financial advice here. You manage your own money and you manage your own risk. With that being said, guys, we're going to hop into the charts. And the first thing we're going to look at is actually we're going to look at Bitcoin first. And almost everything is sitting in a very similar spot. Almost everything is in a consolidation range in a triangular pattern, either a ascending triangle or a symmetrical triangle, but something along this line here in this consolidation range. Hey, what's going on, Roger? You're finally watching. It's about time, buddy. How's it going? But yeah, everything's kind of sitting in a consolidation area. And one of the tools I like to use for this that I don't often show on my charts, but it can be really strong at showing you when consolidation may break, is the Bollinger Bands. And I'm going to turn the Bollinger Bands on here, and this is from the 4-hour chart. And when you see the Bollinger Bands kind of turn into a bottleneck is when you can expect volatility come. So when it bottlenecks down real tight is when you have lack of volatility. That's when the price starts to really consolidate and gets really tight until your bands really kind of compress on each other and then they expand out, typically pretty violently. And here coming in now, we're starting to form a bottleneck here, which to me will say that there will be volatility likely coming in the near future. Unfortunately, I thought we were going to be breaking to the upside. Now I'm not 100% sure, and obviously you're never 100% sure, but it's having trouble right now getting and holding above the 21 period moving average on the 4-hour chart. And if the 21 stays being a resistance, what will happen is this 21 will move out of the bottom of the channel or the bottom of the triangle, and then the price will break down, test support at 29.2 again. And we've had that support a couple of times here. I mean, we lost it for just one candle and retained it, and then we tested it a handful of times over the past day or two. You know, I got lucky. I kind of took off work for the rest of the week prior to my vacation, so I was able to start one, you know, at a reasonable time. So I'm glad you're able to check it out. But yeah, so this 21 period moving average being a hard resistance over the past couple of days is a bit concerning. It needs to break 31,150 or roughly 31.1. We'll call that the next level of resistance. And you see we got to it and rejected right off of it and rejected all the way down to the next level here within 2 candles. So typically what I will say is as Bitcoin goes, the rest of the market will follow for the most part. Looking into taking a look at Ravencoin. Ravencoin is in a very similar situation, and everything that we look at tonight is going to be pretty similar, honestly. Ravencoin is in more of an ascending triangle where it's been hitting the same level of resistance over and over again, which is typically more bullish. If a symmetrical triangle is kind of 50-50, you would want to take a look at which way the price enters. Price enters from the top coming down, then likely a symmetrical is going to come down. But an ascending triangle means that we're hitting the same level of resistance, but we're growing our support. Our support is getting higher as we go, and therefore there's more typically to break above. So there is a good chance for a break to the upside on Ravencoin. Also, Ravencoin as of right now has broken over the 21, and on this candle there's still almost 2 hours left in the candle. It went back to the 21 to retest it, and so far has at least kept from getting back below the 21. So it's going to be a critical area to watch. price between the resistance here at 315 and the 21 period moving average. And you can see this resistance was a support previously. It bounced down, hit it here at 3 cents, had a nice little run up off of it, and then kind of crushed through it when we had that kind of big market meltdown. But at 315, that had been a support, so I expect that to have to be broken and then flipped back to a support before we can see Raven break out. I do think there's a good potential for some positive momentum, just because of an oversold kind of a relief rally. And take a look on a daily, and we see that daily prices indicators, you know, the MACD bottomed out 6 days ago and has already started to turn. It started to turn up. The RSI bottomed out, you know, at 24 on the daily chart. So that's definitely in an oversold position. So again, that would indicate too that, you know, there should be a relief rally to at least get the indicators back kind of closer to the midpoint. And if you're not familiar with the MACD, you know, we're flipping the histogram here, but the MACD line and the signal line are way into the negative area. You know, these lines want to come up to this midpoint too, and they typically cross pretty violently, but they come up and down, up and down. So there could be a lot of room for growth here for a quick kind of, you know, hit two, you know, maybe hit two levels to support resistance, maybe get up to 4.8, maybe close to 5 cents before eventually having to make a decision on whether or not it's going to be a new run, or if it gets stomped out at, you know, the 50 period moving average or the 50-day moving average here around 5, which as this runs will probably come closer to that 4.7, 4.8 range. So if the 50-day moving average stumps it again, we're looking to at least come down and retest this low and maybe hit a new lower low. And the same thing goes back for Bitcoin. I'm going to hop back over to Bitcoin real quick just to kind of show that same scenario. But with Bitcoin, a lot of times it would be, take the Bollinger Bands off quick. Rejections on the 200 or on the I gotta fix this. Nope, that's right. So typically it'd be a rejection of, you know, the daily 50 or the daily 200 that causes the price to kind of squeeze back down. So we'll have to see if there's any type of big rejection here. And again, MACD starting to turn back over, could flip green here within the next day or two if this candle can kind of push itself back up. And the RSI bottomed out here on May 9th at 24.61. So again, indicators would show you that there should be a little bit of a relief coming. And you're gonna be surprised. Go back to the 4-hour chart because I'm gonna go over a handful of coins that all look kind of identical. ADA looking pretty identical to Ravencoin, with an ascending triangle coming up, growing support on our support line, and had a pretty much a solid resistance here at, you know, right around 60 cents. But we've been growing our bottom. Now we bottomed out all the way down here at 39. And if you got, or 38 cents, if you got ADA at 38 cents, you're a legend. Awesome job. I don't know if we touch that low again, but you know, that's a great buy. That's a sit it and go on vacation buy if you can get ADA at 38 cents, I think. But again, the 21 period moving average on the 4-hour chart has been acting as a resistance. That needs to break first. And these things will come in steps, and will kind of cascade. You'll get this cascading event. On the 4-hour chart, we started to get, you know, we're breaking above the 50 on the RSI, and you see us retesting the 50, and we should kind of bounce off of that. We should start to consistently bounce off the 50 to get that bullish momentum going, because this ascending triangle is typically a bullish pattern. It's a bullish sign. The MACD, however, is just getting towards the 0 point on the 4-hour. So these don't always flip on the smaller time frames. On the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frames, this could very likely, you know, get just about even and then spike back up. You can see that here, actually, a very similar scenario where, It kind of went just kind of soft up for a little bit and then spiked really hard towards the top. So we could see something like that come in. But ADA, again, looking around the same right now, trading at just under 57 cents. If I were to move on this, and I am looking at all these for potential moves, I'm looking for all these to get into potential trading scenarios. I'm looking for a clean break and a retest of 60 here for ADA. And going back to Ravencoin, it's going to be a clean break and a retest of 315, 320. I'd like to see a break at 320, and then a retest of it. And we're going to go and see Ethereum. And as you can see, Ethereum, another very similar. Everything went consolidation here after this bottom. I mean, it was almost an immediate rebound. And we're looking at so far a total of a 20% gain off of the bottom. But again, now we're just kind of consolidating in the range. So with that being said, I'm going to keep my Bollinger Bands on, look for these squeezes, look for this point of where it's going to squeeze, and see if I can catch a breakout. Because right now I'm looking for a break in either direction. It doesn't matter if it's a breakdown or a break up. I don't want to make any trades until this consolidation period is over and we have a definitive direction on the market. And that is something that I've got to get better at all the time, is not trading into consolidation where you see you're kind of ranging and you get in on, especially if you trade on leverage. Trading a chop is the easiest way to get stop loss when you're leverage trading, just because of how quickly it can move back and forth. I mean, all of these 4-hour candles with just long wicks back and forth can knock people out when you're high leveraged and you need to get, you're looking for a 2 or 3% move, and 1% in the wrong direction can stop loss you, because that's a 20% loss. So this would be a no trade zone for me until it breaks clean below or clean above. And we'll take a look at FTM. FTM again, another one. This one's more of a symmetrical triangle. Almost, see, when it's symmetrical like this, it kind of looks like a bear flag to me. So I'm nervous that this would break back down. But if it does, if it breaks back down and retests this low at around 23 cents, then we could potentially see that as a double bottom. If it doesn't make a new low, and we could see a potential double bottom here to start really making a reversal pattern. I think we're getting close in a lot of coins. And again, Bollinger Bands squeezing in really tight now. You can see that on the 4-hour chart. I bet on the hourly it's even tighter. Yeah, the hourly is extremely tight on the Bollinger Band right now. So keep an eye on these coins, man. Keep an eye on the market in general. I think tomorrow, if it doesn't happen overnight, I think there's going to be extreme volatility within the next 24 hours. These are going to break. You don't typically see Bollinger Band squeezes tight for this long without making a volatile move. And you can actually see, and you can go back historically, and let me minimize these real quick so you can kind of see more of the volume profile here. When these get really tight is when you start getting the big volume of spikes off of the tightness. You see how the volume is coming down lower, weakening volume, and then when it breaks is when you get the high volume in, and that's the move. That's your high volume move. So this will be tightening down with low volume, low volatility, and then once you see the volume start to move is when you can really start to identify that break is happening. You got low volume here as everything's tightening down, and high volume comes in, and you start getting that big move to the downside. Again, it's always going to be to the downside. There's going to be points where it comes up and spikes really high to the upside. It's just, you're looking for a break of the band or the compression of the band accompanied with volume, and that will show you the direction that you're going. I'm going to take a look at Matic real quick, and this was the last one I had kind of in play for me. And again, it's another ascending triangle with a tightening. I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point, but almost everything in the market is sitting in a very, very similar position. And this could be a point where if you catch this breakout, especially if Bitcoin goes first. If Bitcoin goes, almost everything else will follow it, and you can kind of copy paste your move on multiple different assets at the same time. If Bitcoin goes, get in on Bitcoin trade, get in on a Ethereum trade or a Ravencoin trade, maybe ADA. I mean, you're obviously going to want to watch and check the charts, but once Bitcoin goes, everything else should follow, and you can make a similar move with multiple different coins at the same time. And again, I mean, you see Matic, FTM, Ethereum, ADA, Ravencoin, Bitcoin, all making very similar consolidation patterns right now. So with that being said, a couple people who have been watching, if there's anything you missed on any of the coins I just mentioned, Bitcoin, Ravencoin, ADA, Ethereum, FTM, Matic, any of those coins I can go back over, or if you have any other coin that you'd like to see an analysis on. And those are the only coins I have pre-drawn. So everything else, you kind of see the process of me getting support resistance and getting into what the pattern looks like. I'm going to kind of open it up for a minute if there's anybody who wants to throw a comment out in chat and see a specific coin. But yeah, the most important thing to know right now is that the majority of the market, and I'm going to say the majority because there's always going to be some type of an outlier, is sitting in a very tight consolidation window, and it's going to move. Another indicator for me that it could be a move to the upside is that the DXY has fallen pretty sharply. I want to take a look at the DXY with you, and you can see the DXY has fallen sharply. So if this is a retest of the 50 period moving average for the DXY and it continues to fall, we could definitely see some really, really strong price action in the crypto, and even in the stock market will move the same way. The Nasdaq's up 320 points, Dow Jones was up 431 points, SPX was up 80. So it was good growth throughout the day for all the major U.S. markets. So this DXY coming down, take a look at it on the daily too. You see it coming down, coming down, coming down for 3 consecutive days. If this day starts to come down as well, it could be in for a nice growth period for all asset classes. So, all right, guys, that's all, that's all I got pre-planned for this. So without any questions or any comments, I'm gonna go ahead and probably call it for the night. But I hope this was able to be helpful in your trading endeavors. Again, guys, this was all primarily looking on the 4-hour time frame. You can bring this down to the hourly time frame if you'd like as well. But if you're going to be trading, be careful. There is expect some volatility, but wait for a retest. Typically, the Bollinger Bands like to break in one direction, fake out, and then come back. I mean, you can see this tightness came up, just peaked to the top, and then dumped. And then you see it come to the bottom, peak out of the bottom, and then come back up. Peak out of the bottom, and come back up. Those are typically going to be areas of liquidity grabs where the first break looks a certain way. You get a lot of people going the wrong direction, and then you get their liquidity out of it. And that's, market makers. You got to always be on the side with the market makers, or else you'll be against them and you will lose. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed. And as always, until next time, peace.